I sometimes feel like other NFL fans that don't root for AFC South teams have no real understanding of what we have to go through every year in this division. Sure, some other areas of the league have their various boogeymen at quarterback that totally wreck everyone else and make life hell. Rodgers in the north, Breeze in the south, Wilson in the west, and Brady in the east, of course. But I promise you that none of the fans in those divisions have anything on the kind of torture that Texans, Jaguars, and Titans fans have to endure. At least those boogeymen get cocky, talk some trash, or have so much wild bullshit go their way on a regular basis that they're easy to root against. But ours? In the AFC South, our goofy-ass worst nightmare just sits there, smiling at you and acting like your best friend while he rips out your heart. You literally can't hate the guy, and that makes it even worse because somehow he makes you and your team feel like the bad guys opposing some paragon of justice and good in the world. I hate Andrew Luck because I am incapable of hating Andrew Luck, and I swear that if the Titans screw up and let that man back in the playoffs this weekend, all of you are gonna hate him too. I have been saying for months now that there is a monster lurking in the shadows. Whether it was on Twitter, Reddit, or even this very channel, I've been trying to raise the alarm about this Colts team even going back to when they were barely clawing their way above a 500 record. I repeated over and over and over again that Indy cannot be allowed to make the playoffs or we're all in trouble. But now after winning 8 of their last 9 games to finish the season, that monster is about ready to pounce. The Titans are the only team left standing in their way as we enter Week 17. But as demonstrated in their first meeting this year back in Week 11, even Tennessee's very good defense was little more than a speed bump to Andrew Luck. He sliced and diced the Titans secondary for almost 300 yards passing on nearly 80% completions, threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and finished with a 143.8 quarterback rating. It was about as clean a performance as one could ever expect from their quarterback in a game that was controlled from start to finish, and when watching that game back on tape for the first time about 6 weeks ago, what convinced me back then that the Colts were for real is the same thing that still convinces me now heading into the rematch. Even when the defense was right, Luck made them wrong. Dean Pease and then later Mike Vrabel both called a pretty good defensive game plan against the Colts offense in that game. And remember that Pease left in the first quarter to go to the hospital because of a medical emergency. But believe me, on tape, his absence really did not seem to affect the play calling that much. Their aim from the beginning was to keep everything in front of them and force Luck to play mistake-free football while sustaining long drives, and that's exactly what he did. Luck sustained almost every drive, and he did not make a single mistake while scoring on 6 of his 8 possessions. Only 3 of Luck's 29 pass attempts went further than 15 yards in the air solely because the Titans were content with just letting him work underneath and test them with the run game. And ironically enough, the one time that Tennessee did take a chance and bring a safety down to stop the run, Luck burned them deep with a play-action bomb to T.Y. Hilton for a 68-yard touchdown just to remind them that he could do that at any moment if they let him. It truly was a showcase in game management from a smart, decisive quarterback, and to me what made it all work was the chemistry that Luck had and continues to have with his receivers. On a lot of those throws, Luck started his release before his target was even breaking down in their route, and he would perfectly place the ball based on where he saw defenders leveraging themselves in their coverage. Luck trusted his weapons to read coverages on the fly the exact same way that he does, and then adjust themselves to those coverages accordingly as the ball came out, and much to the Titans' frustration, they all executed flawlessly every single time. T.Y. Hilton in particular really showed why their connection is virtually unstoppable on a good day. His routes and deep speed were as dangerous as ever, of course, but it was his reading of coverages both before and after the snap that stood out even more. Take this 12-yard catch early in the first quarter as an example. Luck and Hilton used the short dummy motion from Jack Doyle as a way to read the coverage before the snap, and with Kevin Byard tracking Doyle the whole way, they know that it's likely going to be man-to-man. The play itself is a pretty standard bootleg with a high-low progression, Hilton on the out route and Ebron in the flat underneath, and on that high-low progression, Luck is supposed to read the route combination from deep to short as he's rolling out. Now, as I said, he knows it's man coverage because of that motion from Doyle, so he knows that Hilton is going to have to run that route a very particular way against man coverage to get open. But because the way that route is run is changing, that will also influence how long Luck holds the ball and where he places it on the boundary. The entire timing of the play is now different against a man coverage look than it would be against a zone coverage look. Pay really close attention to how Hilton sets up and then beats Adoree Jackson here. He's releasing hard outside off the snap and widening himself towards the numbers, while Jackson gets a hand on the back of his shoulder and starts trying to squeeze him into the boundary, just as he should be doing. That's perfect man coverage technique, by the way, so I'm not going to fault him at all for that. Hilton's one job on this play is to get to a particular spot at a particular time so that Luck can deliver the ball in rhythm, but before he can do that, he has to lose Adoree, who is playing really good technique. Above all, he has to give himself a window to get to that spot at that time, and that's why he released outside, because it's all part of his mind game to open up that window later in the route. After Hilton gets to his width at the numbers, watch him then turn upfield and start to work back into Jackson's body while throwing a hand up into his ribcage. This is a common move that receivers do when they're trying to get a corner who is covering them from inside leverage off of them while they cut back inside and underneath that leverage. So as soon as Hilton is bending that route slightly upfield and throwing that arm into Jackson's ribs, Jackson is now thinking that this route is stemming or breaking back inside. And because of that, he starts flipping his hips around to play that inside break while shooting his eyes over to the quarterback. Again, he has not been looking at Luck this entire time, so he has no idea that it's a bootleg until this exact moment. As soon as Adoree turns those hips around, that's when Hilton knows he's got him and he finally snaps the route off towards the boundary for the catch and first down. You literally cannot run this route better than this, and Luck was holding the ball the entire time waiting for it to develop because against tight, technically sound man coverage, it naturally takes longer for Hilton to work himself open to that spot. If Adoree had just bailed to a deep zone coverage and not put his hands on anyone, Hilton could have just easily speed cut the route to the sideline underneath him, and Luck would have had to throw the ball a little bit earlier and a bit flatter to allow Hilton to work back to it. But different routes have to be run and thrown in different ways based on how the defense is playing them, and both Luck and Hilton get that better than almost any other duo in the league. Whether it's snapping off curl routes at certain depths against bail technique or stack technique while the ball gets rifled to his back shoulder, or running routes at only 3/4 speed while glancing over to the middle of the field to see exactly where the safety is so he knows exactly where to settle in between the zones, Hilton just flat out understands how to get open. And more importantly, Luck understands how Hilton gets open and how he can tailor his throws to fit his receiver's skill set. I think my favorite play from these two this entire year was about halfway through the third quarter down in the red zone. It's 3rd and 3, the Colts are up by 3 touchdowns already, and Luck is looking to put the dagger into Tennessee to put the game basically out of reach. TY is running a bullet slant on the backside of this curl concept, which is a decent option for Luck on this down and distance if he wants to try to move the chains against an off-cover corner, and you can see that Hilton was looking for the ball just in case it came out immediately on a one-step drop from Luck. But Hilton was not actually the first read on this play, and Luck was instead progressing from left to right through the curls from Pascal and Ebron first before he got to Hilton, and after seeing that progression, that's where this play got really interesting to me. Watch how Hilton's route evolves into a very sneaky hesitation double move on the backside of this play. He wasn't really running a slant, nor was he really expecting the ball to come his way on a one-step drop from Luck. He just wanted to make it look like it so that Adoree would believe the slant and try to jump it inside. Once Adoree jumped it and Hilton stopped the route to fake as if he was just settling down at the sticks, that's when he sprung the double move and rolled back outside towards the boundary for a fade. This is now the position that any receiver wants to be in for a proper fade route. Plenty of real estate between him and the sideline, a corner playing catch-up so that they're too busy hauling ass to look for the ball in the air, and a quarterback that knows exactly where to put that ball so that you can easily adjust to it and make the catch. The whole goal of this route was to be a long developing double move that put the corner in a compromising position for the quarterback to exploit, and it was executed effortlessly. And speaking of the quarterback, Luck did a great job himself working through his progressions from within the pocket, reading Jackson's leverage and positioning in coverage, and delivering a picture-perfect ball to Hilton's back shoulder for a 14-yard touchdown. I really can't say enough good things about this play because it's a perfect example of how the Luck, Hilton, and Frank Reich triumvirate works. Impeccable routes, impeccable timing, and impeccable ball placement within a great play call. When I said that there really wasn't that much that the Titans defense could do that day, I meant it. What is the solution for Adoree Jackson here? Not jump the slant and potentially give up an easy first down in the red zone? No, he had to jump it and put himself in a terrible position to then play the fade off the double move, and both Luck and Hilton knew that he would take that chance. Jackson had no other option on the play, and the Colts offense basically put him in a no-win scenario out there. That's what Indianapolis does better than almost every other team. They put defenses in no-win scenarios and then slowly suffocate them to death over the course of 4 straight quarters. Marlon Mack and Jordan Wilkins churn out steady yardage on the ground, Nyheim Hines and Hilton move the chains through the air and provide the occasional big play, and the tight ends generate tons of scoring opportunities in the red zone. Everybody has a role to fill and nobody takes up too much of the spotlight individually, and that brutal overall efficiency on offense is backed up by a tough, well-coached defense that shuts down the run and forces their opponent to become entirely one-dimensional. Every part of the machine has a purpose, and the machine has been absolutely rolling for the last 2 months. Hell, even when the run game didn't work, or the receivers were plagued by drops, or the defense had a bad series or a bad game, it's generally been okay, because at the end of the day, this team still has Andrew Luck. And we've already seen him do a hell of a lot more with a hell of a lot less throughout his career. Quite frankly, I'm already sick of the Colts' new formula for success. Luck was hard enough to beat when he had no offensive line, no running game, no defense, and no competent coaches to work with, and now suddenly we expect to stand a fighting chance when he's got all of those things? Am I the only one who remembers how irritatingly good he is? This guy, along with T.Y. Hilton, dragged a bottom 7 roster in the league to the AFC Championship game, and for some reason we're okay with them having help? Are you all out of your damn mind? You can call me a hysterical, hyperbolic Texans fan all you want, but I've seen what that neck-bearded demon and his favorite sidekick can do. If you don't watch AFC South football that often, you just don't understand, okay? This team cannot be let into the playoffs, or they would immediately be the most dangerous 6 seed since the Packers ran the whole table back in 2010. I'm dead serious about that. The Chiefs are fantastic, the Patriots are as good as ever in Foxborough, and the Chargers are one of the most balanced teams in the league, but I would still gladly play any of them before I let the Colts step foot in NRG Stadium again. The Titans are the only thing standing between all of us and him, and quite frankly, I wish I had more confidence in their ability to come through. That is not an indictment on the Titans as a team, by the way. They've earned the right to play for a wildcard spot, and they are a legitimately good roster who do have a very real chance of winning. But if you've been watching the AFC South as long as I have, you probably have the same sense of futility and inevitability that I do. The Texans, Titans, and Jaguars are not the shining hero of this division story. We never are, and we probably never will be. Andrew Luck is, and if there's one thing I've learned from watching that man break our hearts over and over and over again, it's this: the hero always wins. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode, which was admittedly a little bit of a love-hate project for me, in that I love Andrew Luck, and I hate that I love Andrew Luck so much, but that's just kind of how it is with him. Like, you really can't hate the guy. He's just freaking awesome in pretty much every way, and I hope that by some miracle he loses in Tennessee this weekend so that I don't have to see him in the wildcard round, or any round, really. But that being said, if you feel as strongly as I do about the Colts winning this game and making the playoffs, they are somehow only favored by 3 the last time I checked on MyBookie, which is an insanely attractive line to me. If anything, I would have put it at like 6 or more, especially after seeing what he did to this same Titans defense last time, but hey, I'll never say no to free money. Right now, all Film Room viewers get a 50% deposit bonus when you sign up and deposit at the link below with promo code Brett. That will give you an extra 50% value on that deposit, which you can then use exclusively on the site to make bets for free. And if you win with those free bets, it can turn into actual real cash. So consider it literally playing with house money. It's an awesome offer, so if you're thinking about getting in on the action for Week 17, or even for the playoffs going forward, feel free to go to that link in the description below, enter promo code Brett on sign up and deposit, and go have some fun. As for me, I will of course be back next weekend with another full Film Room episode and more picks against the spread for the wildcard round. I'm not entirely sure which wildcard game I'll be breaking down next week, but if you follow me on Twitter, I'm sure I'll keep you all updated. So I'll see you guys next Thursday or Friday with that, whatever it is, and until then, later.